Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. And in this week's local news, don't try to make shortcuts on road closures and construction zones. And learn what Michigan Secretary of State Ruth Johnson had to say to the Oxford Rotary members.
Stay tuned and learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A local driver ended up with his hands full when he offered a ride to a young man who didn't know his way home. Sheriff's deputies were called when the driver could not get clear directions from the rider. Noticing blood and lacerations on the rider's face, officers dug further and administered a breathalyzer test. The test revealed a high level of alcohol. In addition, they discovered the young man also had false identification. He was given a citation and transported to the local hospital for further treatment.
A Humphrey Drive resident notified deputies that his shed had been ransacked and his personal items had been strewn on the lawn in the driveway. The homeowner complained to the officers that he had a problem with neighbors but could not say for sure who might be responsible. He did say, however, nothing was missing.
If you happen to be one of those motorists who's ignoring the road closed signs and barriers at the West Burdick Street road construction site, not only could the ride cause potential damage to your car, it could cost you a $200 fine and 3 points on your driving record. Oxford Village Police and Oakland County deputies are aggressively taking action to stop drivers who go around the barriers, which cause serious safety issues for construction workers. For your safety and for those of others, don't ignore the road closed signs.
The Oxford Public Library has a whole new look as well as the latest in library technology. The library spent the month of May undergoing renovations that include recarpeting, a new lobby look, and a new self-checkout system. The library has nearly 90,000 items currently circulating that have embedded electronic chips. All further reason to visit our local library.
The Addison Township Board voted 6-0 to hire the firm of Partners and Architect to rebuild a new township hall. The plan is to renew existing parts of the old township hall and add a new structure which will house facilities for the Oakland County Sheriff's Substation. Project cost is not to exceed more than $2.5 million. The board plans to take $1.0 million from the general fund and the remaining $1.5 with a 15-year loan.
Enbridge, a Canadian energy distribution company, is near completion of replacing 50 miles of crude oil pipeline between Ortonville and the St. Clair River in Marysville. When completed, the pipeline will transport crude oil to Sarnia, Canada, and will serve refineries in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and Eastern Canada. Locally, Enbridge employs nearly 800 workers and expects completion by the end of September. The main staging area for the Oxford Addison project is located on Koenig sand and gravel property off of Lakeville Road.
Driving through the village of Oxford, you may have noticed the demolition of some old homes. Clearing the property at the South Washington Street location is just one step closer to building the soon-to-be multi-million-dollar Genesis Credit Union building. Construction of the over 3,000 square foot building is expected to be completed in January of 2015.
Secretary of State Ruth Johnson was the recent guest speaker at Oxford's Rotary Club, and she did not disappoint. The Secretary of State message was to inform the public about the state's new website, expresssos.com. With the new website, users are able to renew their driver's license, state ID, license plate tabs, order duplicate titles, registrations, and much more. The website, once again, is expresssos.com. What a good idea. I really like that idea. It'd be really nice to be able to get dog tags and my license and everything else from the comfort of my own home.
Oh, yes, I think that's a great idea too.
All the more reason not to go out on those road construction sites, right?
Oh my gosh, can you imagine going down that site?
What are they thinking? I just don't get why people think the rules don't apply to them.
Well, it's very dangerous to the
Yeah.
construction workers out there.
It
But
sure
not
is.
only that, can you say new struts, new front end? Ka-ching, ka-ching.
I'll tell you, I bet the auto shops really appreciate that hill if a lot of people are going through. Has it become a problem, do you know?
It is a problem.
Wow.
And they have started to nip it in the bud now, and
Good.
they're handing out tickets. So, you folks, when you see
Yeah.
those signs, don't go down those construction lanes.
Right.
Take the detour.
And keep an eye on our television station because we have some promos encouraging people to watch out for that construction that's there.
Right.
So that's it for news this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, please stop by your local stores and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper.
Coming up next on OCTV, more news. Oxford Local Sports with Andy Curtis, Oxford School News with John Oetjens, and don't forget to join Dave Kenny with his Auto Talk and Science in the News.
That's it for Oxford News this week. I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, when it arrives in dealerships early next year, the 2015 Ram ProMaster City will give Chrysler Group dealers a small commercial van to compete with the Ford Transit Connect. The 2015 ProMaster City is based on the Fiat Doblo, but designed for North America. The front-wheel drive vehicle will be powered by the same 2.4-liter inline-4 engine and 9-speed transmission used in versions of the Chrysler 200 sedan and Jeep Cherokee. Instead of inexpensive leaf springs, it has coil-link rear suspension to improve driving dynamics. The compact commercial van is intended primarily as an urban delivery or service vehicle, similar to the Transit Connect. Bob Hegblum, director of the Ram brand, said there are over 1.3 million Fiat Doblos worldwide, meaning efforts to adapt it to North America used a platform that's been proven in the marketplace. The ProMaster City, manufactured in Turkey, will come in two basic configurations, a 2-seater for cargo and a 5-seater for passengers. The ProMaster City's headlights and tail lamps set high to avoid damage. Large wraparound front and rear bumpers intended to absorb low-speed bumps with minimal damage. The van's rear doors open in a 60-40 split to ease loading and unloading, and the van's interior comes in either black or gray with cloth seats. The shifter is mounted below the radio and climate controls are in the center stack. An available Uconnect entertainment system features a 5-inch screen, satellite radio, and navigation, as well as a Bluetooth connectivity and a backup camera. Designers added a large flat bin atop the center stack and a recessed shelf above the glove box. In its cargo area, the ProMaster City has 48.4 inches of room between its wheel wells, allowing space for pallets or 4-foot sheets of plywood. Above the wheel wells, width increases to more than 60 inches. The cargo area has nearly vertical walls and about 52 inches of interior height to accommodate storage racks. There is more than 7 feet of room between the rear doors and the back of the front seats in the cargo version. Ram says the ProMaster City has a cargo capacity of 131.7 cubic feet. Payload capacity is 1,883 pounds, and the floor has 6 recessed tie-down clips to secure loads. Chrysler dealers can't wait for that one. And in our next story, the Ford Edge is getting a major makeover and global push for 2015. It'll appear in dealerships early next year. The new vehicle is longer, roomier, and more powerful and more aerodynamic than its predecessor. It will be the first Ford-branded vehicle offered with an adaptive steering system, a 180-degree front camera, an enhanced self-parking assist system that works with vertical and parallel parking, and a glove box airbag. It will also be the first Ford to get a redesigned 2-liter EcoBoost engine with a twin-scroll turbocharger that optimizes camshaft design for reduced turbo lag and improved engine performance. It will be available in front and all-wheel drive configurations. The new 2-liter EcoBoost is one of 3 engines offered. The others are a conventionally aspirated 3.5-liter TI VCT V6 and a 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6. Ford has redesigned the Edge with a body that is 26% stiffer when reacting to bending forces and 16% stiffer in reacting to twisting forces. The suspension retains McPherson struts in the front and has a new integral link independent rear suspension with coil springs. Chrysler, on the other hand, is coming up with Stop Start. Chrysler Group will equip some of its 2015 Jeep Cherokees and Chrysler 200s with engine stop start as a standard feature beginning later this year. The fuel-saving technology shuts off the engine as the vehicle brakes to a stop and restarts it when pressure on the brake pedal is released. The automaker says it intends to put the feature on its 3.2-liter V6 versions of the 2015 Jeep Cherokee when they go into production in the third quarter. It will also install stop-start in 2.4-liter inline-4 versions of the 2015 Chrysler 200 sedan, beginning also in the fourth quarter. And on the recall front, the recall storm embroiling Takata Corporation's airbags has widened, with Honda Motor, Nissan, and Mazda calling back nearly 3 million vehicles to fix possibly defective inflator propellant made in North America. Honda recalled 2.03 million vehicles worldwide, including over 1 million vehicles in North America. Mazda recalled back about 160,000 vehicles worldwide, including almost 15,000 in North America. Nissan's recall affects 755,000 units worldwide. The June 23 triple action pushes to nearly 10 million the number of vehicles recalled worldwide over the past 5 years to fix Takata airbags. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
I'm Jim Schwartz, Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction of the Oxford Community Schools. And I'm just putting an open invitation out to folks who might be interested in our Young Fives program, our developmental kindergarten program that is going to be opening in each building that we have this fall. This is for any parent who is thinking about kindergarten, but maybe your child's not quite ready for kindergarten and the rigors of kindergarten. Young Fives program would be for you. Having finished a 4-year-old preschool program, this is a nice transition into the rigors of a kindergarten program. Young Fives is a program that is steeped in play, but still offering a great preparation for Common Core and the rigors of our national curriculum that starts in kindergarten. If you have a child who's been born in June 1st of 2009 to December 1st of 2009, we certainly welcome you to enroll at our enrollment offices on 10 North Washington, right in downtown. Come on in, bring a proof of residency, birth certificate, and we will get you registered. We are looking forward to classrooms being available for students in buildings across the district. Transportation is provided by the school district for this great opportunity. And again, we have an open invitation, and we hope you join us at Oxford Schools.
This is OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford and Addison Townships with the best in local programming. On Charter Channel 191, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and our website, OCCTV.org. OCTV, we provide local programming that brings you closer to home.
I'm John Oetjens, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. As of our recording date, there are 3 Oxford residents who have registered for the 4 school board slots becoming available in the November election. Those running are Paula Foster, Amy Hamilton, and Angela Mitchell. July 22nd is the cutoff. With summer break in full force now, we're taking a glance back at some meaningful words from guests and teachers that we've heard from during the graduation time. Maggie Dunn was the principal speaker at the Oxford Virtual Academy graduation. Maggie is the founder and CEO of the House of Providence in Detroit. They use the Oxford Virtual Academy for the education of some of their kids. Here is some of what she had to say.
So I want to leave 4 things with you. Number 1, remember that perspective is your reality. The perspective through which you view life is going to be your own reality. Let me give you an example. If my perspective is that my sister is mad at me and she's talking about me behind my back, it doesn't matter if she is or not. If that's the perspective through which I view it, that's my reality and I'm going to react that way. Does that make sense? So your perspective, the perspective through which you view every situation and moreover your life, is going to be your reality. With that, I would encourage you, in your reality, learn early, learn young, and learn well to decipher 1 from 10. There are things that happen that are not 10, but we see many people, peers, adults, react to them as though they are 10s. And when you know what a 10 is, something very, very serious, then you will have the proper perspective when it's just a 1 or a 2. Does that make sense? When you get a flat tire, that's not a 10. When you have a terminal diagnosis, that's a 10. And I would encourage you, a very solid way to learn the difference between 1s and 10s and everything in between is to purposely put some people or situations in your life that are 10s in your path where you can make a difference. And then, when you have 1s and 2s come along, you'll be able to say, you know what? This is a bummer, but it's not a 10. Perspective is reality. Perspective is so important as you carry yourself through life. Number 2, I would say, make sure you really, really get to know yourself. That can be hard nowadays with all of our social media portals that we try to portray this version of ourselves, whether it's the selfie not at this angle, but it has to be at this angle, and we have, we delete it 7 times. It's this foot that we put forward, right? But take some time off of social media, off of the pictures and who we are portraying, and really get to know who you are. What do you like? It might not be what your friends like. It might be out of the ordinary. Get to know yourself. Know who you are. Know what you're good at. Find things that nourish you, nourish your soul. Find out what you're passionate about. I loved what our school board president shared. Find out what you're passionate about. When you find out what you're passionate about, it's things that happen that just fire you up. And it's different for everybody. Find out what that is, and that will guide you to your purpose. Find out what you're passionate about. You have to try a lot of things sometimes to find out what you're passionate about.
Maggie Dunn at the Virtual Academy graduation. Along with students graduating, we also have teachers retiring from Oxford schools. Here are those retiring this year. Thank you for your service, and good luck to all. Dave Kenny is next with Science in the News, followed by Andy with Sports. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That moment?
It was a moment that changed my life. I'd been training with my team for months, and now we had been called up for the first time. The real deal. Wildfires were getting dangerously close to homes. At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
This is OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford and Addison townships with the best in local programming. On Charter Channel 191, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and our website, OCCTV.org. OCTV, we provide local programming that brings you closer to home.
I'm Andy Curtis, and this is your Oxford Sports Update. So the Tigers lost on Sunday 6-4 against the Houston Astros to close out their three-city road trip. Starter pitcher Drew Smyly had the shortest start of his career, lasting only 2 1/3 innings and giving up 3 runs in the first. This, combined with 2 intentional walk gambles that backfired, was too much for the Cats, who even after a 2-run triple from Castellanos in the 8th couldn't close the gap. Overall, though, it was a good road trip, with the Tigs winning 7 of 9 and keeping their lead in the AL Central at 3.5 games. Now, the NBA held their draft last Thursday, with the Pistons having to wait until the 38th pick to make their only draft choice, which was Spencer Dinwiddie, a 21-year-old point guard from Colorado. Now, for those who follow the team, they were not surprised by the selection of a guard, but Dinwiddie, who tore his ACL back in January, is not on any timetable to return to play for his new team, which to some is a bit confusing, but apparently the Stones higher-ups like what they saw, with GM Jeff Bauer saying he's got a good feel for moving the ball as well as the scoring ability and ability to shoot. Now, Dinwiddie will travel with the team to Orlando for summer league play, but will not get out on the court. Some more local news surrounding the NBA draft was a selection of some of our collegiate standouts being drafted by the pros pretty early on. Former Spartan Gary Harris was drafted by Chicago Bulls and then traded to the Denver Nuggets, with his teammate Adrian Payne being picked up by the Atlanta Hawks. Former U of M stars Mitch McGary and Nick Stauskas went to the Oklahoma City Thunder and Sacramento Kings. I'm Andy Curtis, and you can catch all our broadcasts of your favorite Oxford High School Now Park and Rec League games weekends between 1 and 6 right here on OCTV, or check us out online under the programs section of OCCTV.org. And this is your community station, so if you have a sports idea you want to alert me of, send me an email at andrewcurtis23@gmail.com and put OCTV Sports in the subject line. That was all the sports news you need to know. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, this is what an alien invasion looks like. Giant balls of tumbleweed are causing problems across the western U.S., where prolonged drought and high winds have led to a boom in their numbers. The most common tumbleweed, Calitragus, isn't native to the U.S. It's an invader from Eurasia and is also known as Russian thistle. The alien hitched a ride in the seed shipments into South Dakota in the 19th century just in time to spread west and become a handy metaphor in cowboy movies for the desolation of ghost towns on the frontier. The plant grows in the normal way until it is mature and dry, when it breaks from its roots and rolls away, scattering seeds as it does. This is a fantastic method for dispersal in an arid environment. This picture was taken in East Los Angeles and shows a highway maintenance crew removing tumbleweed from a road. LA isn't the only city under siege. Colorado Springs has its own tumbleweed invasion in March, as have parts of New Mexico and Texas. And some people have a tumbleweed phobia, which isn't ideal when you're driving through a rolling invasion of the stuff. And on the environmental front, the world's water is awash with tiny bits of plastic. A new report from the United Nations Environment Program estimates that this plastic waste damages marine ecosystems every year to the tune of $13 billion, and freshwater species are just as threatened. It's good news, then, that Illinois has become the first state to ban the manufacture and sale of cosmetics that contain plastic microbeads. They may feel good when they're exfoliating your face, but the tiny plastic beads found in cosmetics are seriously bad news for the environment. Microbeads are normally less than 1 millimeter across and slip through most water treatment facilities into the water supply. In New York State alone, 19 tons, that's metric tons, of microbeads may be released into the wastewater every year, according to a report from the Office of the State's Attorney General. Animals can mistake microbeads for food and end up with a belly of plastic, causing blockages and even starvation. What's more, the microbeads can attract harmful free-floating chemicals such as pesticide DDT. And the Great Lakes are riddled with microbeads, according to a study published last year by Marcus Erickson of the Five Gyres Institute in Los Angeles, California, and colleagues. They dragged a fine mesh along the lake's surface and found microplastics in quantities that rivaled the famous garbage patches in the oceans. There were up to 466,000 pieces per square kilometer, of which 81% were cosmetic microbeads. Preliminary results show even higher levels for Lakes Michigan, Erie, and Ontario. That galvanized people into action. Schneiderman was the first to call for a ban, calling it common sense legislation. In mid-June, Illinois became the first state to ban microbeads. New York, Ohio, and California are expected to follow. On June 17th, New Jersey Congressman Frank Pallone proposed the Microbead Free Waters Act of 2014, which would ban them nationally by 2018. And the Dutch Parliament is pushing for a similar ban with the European Union. Most major companies that use microbeads in their products are happy to comply. L'Oreal, Johnson & Johnson, and Colgate have already agreed to begin replacing the plastic with more natural alternatives like oatmeal and sea salt. And on the technology front, when it comes to personal electronics, it's difficult to imagine iPhones and hearing aids in the same sentence. Hearing aids have a well-deserved reputation as deeply uncool lumps of beige plastic worn mainly by the elderly. Apple, on the other hand, is the epitome of cool consumer electronics. Now, a Bluetooth wireless protocol developed by Apple last year lets the prosthesis connect directly to Apple devices, streaming audio and data while using a fraction of the power consumption of conventional Bluetooth. LINX, made by Resound, and Halo hearing aids made by Starkey, both international firms, use the iPhone as a platform to offer users new features and added control over their hearing aids. Now, Starkey and Resound have developed iPhone apps that give users the ability to adjust their own hearing aids without needing to visit an audiologist. With these tools, users can fine-tune audio settings for different acoustic environments and geotag these profiles so that the hearing aids automatically switch to the appropriate program depending on whether the owner is at the office, at home, or their local Starbucks. A paired smartphone can also act as a directional microphone, picking out the voice of a friend from the hubbub of a busy restaurant, say. Jason Galster, a research audiologist at Starkey, says users can expect to get 9 to 11 days of battery life from the iPhone-linked Halo, although those who use it for streaming lots of music and podcasts would get less. Once paired with a tablet or a smartphone, the hearing aids connect automatically once they get within about 7 meters. Innovations could include a Finder app that tracks down misplaced devices by following the wireless signal from the hearing aid. Well, that's it from this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.